5 teens in varsity jackets dragged a girl to a tree and put a rope around her neck. A messed up prank, they called it. But what they didn't know, her dad wasn't just a farmer. He was a SEAL, and he was 47 seconds away. With everything he needed burned their world down. They say the land remembers. I believe that. Every fence line, every scar in the dirt, every stone in the stream, it holds a story. Ours started long before the Barlows showed up in their shiny sedans, flashing teeth and flashing cash. We weren't rich, but we were rooted. The farm was old, 500 acres of Virginia hills, oak and pine, hay fields that ran with the wind. It had been my wife's before it was ours, passed down over generations. After she died, it became the whole world for me and my daughter, June. 16, smart, tough, all heart. The property line ended at a ridge, split by an old oak tree. That tree marked the line between real land and fake living. On the other side, Sterling Meadows, a development wrapped in beige. Big houses, manicured lawns, identical smiles. Then came the fines. Improper agricultural view shed. Fence line disorder. Every one of them signed by Hal Barlow, the HOA president. The same man who smiled while his boys shoved mine at the bus stop. They thought we'd bend with polite pressure. They didn't realize something. I didn't bend. And my daughter, she never broke. The 10th fine came on a Thursday. I saw it from my kitchen window, tacked to the front gate like some kind of warning. White paper, brass tack, no envelope, no knock. Delivered by hand, in the dark. Felt more like a threat than a code violation. Unkempt agricultural boundary adjacent to manicured residential view shed. Translation: our tree line wasn't neat enough for their morning jogs and wine mom photo ops. I walked out, pulled the paper down, and kept the tack, just in case. Across the road, Sterling Meadows glistened like a polished lie. All flash, Zero Soul. And at the top of it, his castle, was Hal Barlow, the HOA president, land developer, and part-time snake. That afternoon, Hal pulled up right on cue. Same smug smile, same pastel polo shirt, like he dressed out of a HOA starter pack. "Don," he said, stepping to the fence like he hadn't crossed 3 of them already. "Got our little note?" "I saw it," I said. "Just a formality," he replied. "You understand, community standards are important." He looked past me toward the oak tree on the ridge. Then came the line that flipped the switch. Hard place to raise a girl. Out here alone. Things happen. Not a warning. A message. One that hit its target like a knife in the ribs. My grip tightened. I didn't raise my voice. Just said evenly, "You and your boys stay on your side of the fence, Hal. Especially with my daughter. Next time, I won't be handing out words." He gave me that fake laugh smirk and walked away. But Sterling, he stayed in the passenger seat, eyes locked on mine, smile thin as a razor. Then he drew his thumb across his throat like a punk in a teen movie. They thought this was still a game. They were wrong. She always came home the same way. Quiet trail through the woods that cut across our land, right up to the ridge where the oak tree stood. One path, one girl, one routine. They knew it. 3:58 p.m. The trail cam snapped on. A trigger I'd mounted 20 feet up the old oak, hidden in a thick Y branch. Military grade. Soundless. Perfect view of the ridge. June stepped out of the trees, headphones on, just a backpack in peace. The rot came from the other side. 5 of them. Varsity jackets. Ashern High. Quarterback led. Sterling Barlow. Right in front. He jumped the fence first. The other 4 followed, adrenaline drunk and smiling like they were heading into a locker room prank. Caleb, Nate, Jordan, Tyler. I would later learn the names. But in the moment, they were faceless hyenas. June stopped, took out one earbud. Her body language shifted. She didn't run. She assessed. Then Sterling raised a hand, fake wave, and said something. There's no sound on the trail cam, but I didn't need it. That smile told the story. He was performing. For them. For his camera. For someone watching later. One of them grabbed her arm. She yanked back. Hard. But 2 others had already flanked her. Zip ties came out of someone's leather jacket. like it was routine. She struggled, hard, kicked, nailed one of them in the knee. Caleb, he limped in the footage after that, but there were too many. They got her wrist behind her back. Then came the rope. Sterling, grinning, looped it through the thick low branch, the same one that used to hold June's tire swing. They tied a fake noose. Not fatal, clearly intentional. Intended to come close. She tried to brace her feet. There was nothing to brace on. Then, still smug, Sterling held up his phone and stepped into frame. He leaned down inches from her face and said something. Later, in Caleb's sign statement, he quoted the line exactly. "Your daddy's some big bad seal, right? Where is he now? Superman gonna fly in and save you." The others laughed, idiot loud. Mob energy on full tilt. Then, just like that, they walked away, jumped the fence again, jogged home to their gated reality. They left my daughter hanging from a tree, hands zip-tied, barely balanced, filmed like a punchline. They thought they sent a message, but all they really did was start the clock. It was 4:35 p.m. when I realized something was wrong. I was in the west pasture, mending a corner post that a black bear had crushed the night before. Nothing urgent, just idle work. June should have been home by now. She always cut through the woods, 20 minutes max from the bus stop, music on, singing out of tune, dragging her backpack like she hated gravity. It was routine, but the house was silent. No music, no stomping boots, no kitchen light, just stillness. I walked in. Her backpack was there, dropped by the door like always, but she wasn't. I called for her. Once, twice. No answer. I pulled out my phone. No bars. Cell dead zone. Nothing new. That's when instinct coiled in my gut. The kind of feeling you don't ignore. The kind that saved me more than once overseas. And then, faint distant, I heard it. High note, low note, repeating. A sound built to punish the wind. The whistle, our signal. Back when she was 10, I started training her with it. Like a game. Whistle patterns for emergencies. One tone meant come home. Two meant can't come to you. In danger. She didn't have the whistle now, but someone did. Finley, old-timer rancher on the north end, rode the fence daily. Saw and heard everything. He must have heard a scream. Maybe saw the boys from the ridge. Saw what they'd done, and sounded the alarm for me. I sprinted back inside. The landline rang as I grabbed my keys. Done. Finley said, "Big oak. Now, they strung up your girl. Just left her." Every cell in my body locked into soldier mode. No panic, no tears, just angles and solutions. Fastest way there? My truck would take 6 minutes. Long way around. I needed to get there in seconds. I had a Bell 206L Long Ranger parked in the hangar behind the barn. My side gig, charter flights for tourists. It wasn't a hobby, it was a tool, and tonight, it was a lifeline. In under 90 seconds, I was airborne. Wind screaming, engine roaring, skids up. I had one mission, get to June. Now, the Bell 206 tore over the ridge like a scream. From the open cockpit, I saw it. Right there, under the shadow of the oak, June was hanging, low branch, rope around her neck, barely conscious, barely moving. Her feet scraped the dirt, just enough to hold on, not enough to breathe. Pain pushed at me like a spike, but I didn't let it through. Emotion is noise. Right now I needed silence. Fast scan. Terrain, bad landing zone. Too uneven, too rocky. Rotor wash might knock down the tree, let alone the girl. So I made a choice. Use the noise. Make it look like I couldn't land. Distract them. If any of the boys were nearby watching, they'd look up, not down. I banked the hello wide, gave it altitude, and faked a slow circle, like I was helpless. They wouldn't see me come back on foot. I landed 300 yards down the fence line in a pine-covered gap, left the engine turning over. Noise cover, grabbed my knife, jumped out, sprint. 47 seconds from flyover to impact. When I got to the tree, she wasn't panicking. She was breathing slow. Training. 4 seconds in, 7 hold, 8 out. Her lips were blue, but her eyes locked on mine. 1 slice. Rope gone. I caught her as she fell. Dead weight. She gasped, croaked, looked at me. Took you long enough, she rasped. A smile, hers, even now. I held her tight. Didn't say a word. I didn't need to. She was alive. They failed. I wasn't too late. Barlow's mistake wasn't attacking me. It was forgetting who she was. We didn't wait for the sheriff at the tree. That was their crime scene, not ours. I carried June back to the chopper. She refused a stretcher, said she could walk. She couldn't, not fully. But I let her try. That's who she is. Back at the house, I didn't waste time. Every second had to mean something now. I sat her down, gave her water, pulled the SD card from the trail cam, and slid it into my laptop. The screen lit up. High def, date, time, faces. June entering the clearing. The boys surrounding her. The rope, the assault, the smirk on Sterling's face when he leaned in and whispered, "Where is he now? Superman gonna fly in and save you." It was all there. I copied it, then I backed it up. Twice. 1 to the cloud. 1 to a USB stored in the gun safe. No mistakes. I photographed June's neck, her wrists, the zip tie bruises, the pressure lines on her jaw and airway. Shot, focus, document. Like I was back cataloging a raid site. Then I bagged evidence. The rope cut where I sliced it. The knot Sterling tied around the trunk. The zip ties, too clean to be random. And the dirt around the tree, where boot prints scattered like a panic. I wasn't building a case. I was building a coffin. We watched the footage together. June's jaw tightened when Sterling appeared on screen, circling like a wolf before a kill. "He filmed it," she said flatly. "Yes, he did. And I bet my last dollar that video was still on his phone, because boys like Sterling think the world protects them. They think status is armor and money is truth. But this time, we had the receipts. And we had one more thing they weren't expecting. Caleb, the boy in the back, the one not laughing and shaking. He didn't know it yet, but he was the thread that would unravel it all.